earlier today, CD Projekt Red confirmed that Cyberpunk 2077 is getting yet another new update. And what is likely to be the true final update, CDPR announced on Twitter that tomorrow, a new episode of Red Streams will occur. This is going to be a deep dive into the new features coming soon for Cyberpunk 2077 in Update 2.2. And pay attention, because it seems like this could actually be a big one. The stream itself will be at 5 p.m. CET, and that's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern Time for you Americans out there. And do pay attention to that time. Technically, all CDPR is saying in this tweet is that a new stream is happening tomorrow, but considering tomorrow is not only the 4-year anniversary of Cyberpunk 2077's release, but also the fact that nearly all of these past Red streams that were covering updates also ended with the update releasing, makes me think it is incredibly likely that this update, patch 2.2, is coming out tomorrow. And if you're on PC, that's going to be a really big deal. We're going to go into what might be included or not with this update. After tomorrow, the modding scene of Cyberpunk 2077 may be transformed forever. But at the very least, we know that a lot of mods for PC players are going to break. And when it comes to mods breaking, this might be one of the worst updates yet because the game's pretty old now. Some modders have stepped away, so it might take an unusually long amount of time to get all of your mods working again. Plus, we don't even know what this update will change, so certain mods may become outdated as a result of the changes. If you're using a heavily modded save right now, disable auto update and make sure your game is safe. But as far as what type of content you could expect from patch 2.2, this update number does get me very hopeful. This is going to be a mainline update as the game will go to version 2.2. Since we got that massive 2.0 patch last year, we've only actually gotten one mainline update, that was patch 2.1, which also is a year old, coming out last December. We don't get many mainline updates for Cyberpunk 2077, and these tend to be the larger updates that actually implement notable features. With patch 2.1, we got the Metro system and a bunch more. And as of right now, we know what's not going to be included. The global community director at CDPR took to Twitter to say, a lot of questions about whether PS5 Pro support and New Game Plus are coming with Cyberpunk 2077 patch 2.2. The answer is no. We do have some other cool stuff in the oven, and we'll talk about it tomorrow during the stream. We hope you'll like it too, appreciate the patience. So obviously, that is a bit of a bummer, as many did hope for a New Game Plus mode for Cyberpunk, but considering we are getting an entire stream dedicated to showing off what these new features are, just as a part of this update, it certainly makes me think that there's going to be several new features. It's not like it's just going to be one thing they can quickly go over. And the odd part is, this is the first time Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't really have a lingering feature that was promised. All of the features CDPR said they were going to be adding to this game, at least after release, are now in the game. But if you want to get really ambitious, one of the biggest pieces of yet untouched cut content is the casino. Cyberpunk 2077 has this entire cut casino. It just never got used, but it is a location you could find in game. Adding a full-on casino feels like quite large for an update this late into the game's lifespan, but hey, CDPR went pretty crazy with some of those past ones, so this honestly wouldn't shock me. It definitely feels possible, although I would put this on the more optimistic side of things. And there are some smaller pieces of cut content that also seems probable. Vehicle customization getting more properly fleshed out would be awesome. With patch 2.1, we get a light version of this with Rayfield cars having their colors editable, but that actually broke with a later update, so right now this doesn't work in Cyberpunk. This getting fixed or expanded could be really cool. Beyond that, Cyberpunk 2077 has 2 gigs that are mostly done and in the files of the game, but have just never come out. It seems very possible that these could end up getting added, although they are fairly simple. You could watch YouTube videos that show the entirety of the gig. They're basically done in the files. And for me, the one big feature I'm holding out hope for that I kind of alluded to a bit earlier in this video is official mod tools finally coming to Cyberpunk 2077. Technically, we do have some light official mod tools that makes modding Cyberpunk easier and making some of the unofficial tools easier, but proper mod tools that actually allow you to edit things like animations, make custom quests for this game, and more would transform Cyberpunk 2077 on PC. This would be a degree of modding that we just haven't seen possible yet. And this isn't just one out there pipe dream. There is some serious potential behind this one. Earlier this year, The Witcher 3 got its official Red Kit, this being made by the same team that worked on the community mod tools for The Witcher 3. Back in 2021, CDPR hired those community modders to help make the official tools. So we, of course, just saw this come out for The Witcher 3. They even just ran a contest where you could win prizes by making making particularly awesome mods, really showcasing the extent to which these tools can edit the game. The Witcher 3 dropped on May 19th, and those mod tools earlier this year came right around the same time, on May 21st. Could we see a repeat for Cyberpunk's anniversary? There could be a hypothetical situation where the team wrapped up working on those Witcher 3 tools and immediately moved over to Cyberpunk 2077. And this quote from a past earnings call from CDPR always gave me a bit of hope.
When it comes to any future things, Cyberpunk, anything related, I mean, once we have something on our hands, we will definitely talk about that. But in general, I would indicate that community created content by means of mods, enabled and powered by really well prepared tools, is something we are fond of, and we do see value in that. In how we interact with the fans.
That quote's from last year, with members of the executive team saying they see value in mods for Cyberpunk 2077. And that, coupled with everything else that I talked about just now, makes me think that, yeah, this could actually happen. We could get official mod tools for Cyberpunk 2077 tomorrow. And you could also read way too deeply into this tweet from the official account, basically saying that your mods breaking will be worth it. Yeah, I'll take all of my mods breaking if we actually get official mod tools and in turn advance modding capabilities going forward, or maybe not. As you can tell, this is all really just speculation. I'm connecting a bunch of dots that fit somewhat nicely together, but it also could not happen. And personally, I was expecting Cyberpunk to get official mod tools, but I was not expecting them to come this soon. But that kind of is the weird part about this update. I've covered basically everything CDPR has done around Cyberpunk for the past 4 years. And even with that in mind, and seeing some of the data mines and some other unreleased stuff, I have no idea what they're adding with this update. Mod tools are my kind of white whale. I really hope they do it, but I would still be 50-50 or even less on that. As far as concrete features that could be implemented into the game, it's kind of a blank slate. I have no idea where they could go or even how many features could be coming. And with that in mind, one kind of unexpected way CDPR could take this update that I haven't seen many people talking about is mods. Not mod support, but just implementing mods as features. This is something they did with The Witcher 3 and its next-gen update. A lot of community mods out there, some of the most popular kind of vanilla plus-esque mods, ended up getting implemented as just core features of the game. So of course for PC users, this is kind of a moot point. You could just download the mod, but for a console player, and there's a lot of console players for Cyberpunk, that's huge. A ton of overhauls, a ton of new features implemented into the game because those mods are just becoming core things. So now I'm not necessarily saying this is where this update patch 2.2 will go for Cyberpunk 2077, but it also wouldn't shock me. There are quite a few mods out there from very popular members of the modding community that just kind of make the game better. Stuff like Equipment EX, which makes customizing your character far easier. Whether it be CDPR just kind of copying what this is doing, or even just implementing the mod itself, it seems plausible. Sit Anywhere is another super common one where you can just kind of lean and take in what's going on around Night City. Or if you want something a bit more extreme, Enemies of Night City, which gives enemies a ton of new abilities. Or Romance Hangouts Expanded, which makes it so those interactions with your partner have a lot more options. Because for better or worse, there are certain things modders are doing better than CDPR right now. As one other feature I really hope gets resolved with this update is the FSR implementation. The last major update for Cyberpunk 2077 was adding in FSR 3.0, frame generation for the masses. Unfortunately, the FSR 3.0 looks pretty bad, while 3.1, which you can get via a community mod, looks a lot better, and it'd be cool to see CDPR address this themselves. So with that in mind, back up your game now before this update does ship out, and check out this video to see how modders are implementing some of the biggest pieces of cut content back into Cyberpunk 2077.